Good morning. It's 12 minutes past 8 a.m, 24th of April. It's a Tuesday here in Australia, and I've got a video blog, and I've had a little bit of a break. I do admit that. I've been working on my gym and working on some coaching courses and doing some things interstate. So it's time now to buckle down and share some commentaries on what I think is going to be happening in the future. Now, today's video is going to be just a quick review on some entities that I've highlighted that I've been watching very closely since Christmas. Obviously, we've started to come through this bear trend, and I think we're starting to see a little bit more confidence in the market. So I'm going to start talking about these again. It's a little bit safer that way. I suppose the big thing for me is none of this is investment advice. It's just me sharing with you what I'm looking at and what I've been researching, and I suppose what I'm connected to at the moment. And if you get some value out of that, then great. What I also wanted to do is cover some ICOs that I'm going to be doing in the future. There's some new entities with some really cool and exciting ideas which we haven't seen last year, and that's showing you that the space is evolving and people are starting to think a little bit more broadly than the currencies and what blockchain can deliver overall. In particular, I want to share, which is really exciting. But what I wanted to start off with is just share with you, and I've got a couple of tabs open, some entities I think that are going to do well this year, in the sense that I think that they're doing the legwork in the background. Some of them are still, everything's still speculative in that sense, so you've got to do a little bit of due diligence. However, I do think that we're going to see a lot more attention come to these particular entities for various reasons, one being platforms and technology and teams and all sorts of things. One that you can go and have a look at is BAB. Now, what BAB is doing is they're going to be establishing an application, and they're also looking at establishing banking licenses, not only in the United Kingdom but in Europe. And I think it's in Bahrain, or it's not Belarus, but I think it's in Bahrain. I could be corrected on that. So they're looking at a couple of different licenses in several different jurisdictions. Now, whether they get the license or not, I think you'll find that the application and the arrangements that they're going to be setting up in regards to smart contracts and direct relationships with banks will still allow BAB to be able to open up bank accounts for those anywhere in the world, to be able to establish these banks in these jurisdictions using obviously technology and using tokenized incentives, and using the BAB token as a utility token as a way of transferring funds and being able to maintain transactions and security of the application. So BAB has had a very, very exciting last few weeks, and I was fortunate enough to do a video on this last year, so I got in nice and early in the ICO, and obviously through that bear trend, I don't think anything's done that well in the last 3 or 4 months due to the size of the market or due to the behaviour of the market. And I think that's what we've got to remember, is that the market cap is so small and the market is still basically influenced by the behaviour overall. Even though a particular entity might be coming out with a really good application, or they've got some good news, we don't always see the true value implemented into these particular entities straight away, and everything takes time. So BAB, I think, has got a lot of good things coming up. You can go and have a look at their website. I think this is a really, really good initiative, because it's going to enable people who do not have access to banks to be able to get into banking economy. Now, if BAB can establish these United Kingdom banking licenses, and I think there's a European one as well, you may find that will also move over into different services. So it could allow them to do lending, it could allow them to obviously leverage some of their assets, or even get into wealth creation that may not necessarily been available to certain people in the past. So there's a lot of great benefits to this, whether you like banks or not. I think that what you'll find over the next 10, 20 years is going to be a massive shift to what we have always thought and what we've always known as being our part of our financial systems. I think you're going to find it's going to really start to come back, and the power is going to come back to the individual. And I think BAB's going to be one of those that's going to lead the way in regards to one of these applications and phone apps that's going to allow them to do what they need to do. I hate it when little emails come in and beep at me just like that, but I need to turn those off. Another good thing about BAB is that they also do a lot of updates. So if you want to go and look into what they're doing and find out what they're up to. You can jump on their YouTube and those type of things, and they're the ones I like the most, because you don't want to be invested in. And I think this is the big difference. I've said this in the past about stock market and the blockchain, is that now that we've got social media and Facebook and YouTube and all these different things, there's no excuse to be able to share your brand and your services and what you're looking to deliver with your shareholders or your investors or just people in general. Like, share your vision and express what you're trying to deliver to the world. I think we're about to see a massive swing. The companies that do not do this, and we saw it with Apple. Apple was probably one of the leaders where they came out and expressed what they wanted to do. They had a very, very strong vision, and that's going to be the key to success. Next one is PayPal for me. Not PayPal, PayPi. PayPi at the end of April, it's 24th, so we're talking about in the next week or so is going to be releasing their beta version of their leveraging platform, which is going to enable small to medium enterprises to be able to leverage their existing invoices or outstanding debts and use their credit risk assessment services to be able to obtain leverage with banking lenders and other online lenders through credit risk assessment scores. So you'll be able to use your existing infrastructure and put your accounting through the system and be able to, I think, secure loans that you may not have been able to do in the past. And I think this is really good for lenders as well. They'll be able to cut out risky lending situations and take out some of the dishonesty that we've seen in the past, and that's caused a lot of issues in the financial sector. We've seen that with the housing bubble and things, and there's no doubt there's people out there that have received lending that probably didn't have the capacity. So there's going to be a lot of benefits to PayPal. I think it might be one of those ones that becomes a household name in 10 years' time. You might find that it'll connect its services to different websites and different lending. It'll be part of the protocol, or very similar process to being able to leverage your way into getting financial support and lending. But it's actually quite a diverse platform, so I'm interested to see what happens with the beta. And there's going to be a whole heap of testing, and I think there'll be a little bit of excitement around that. Another one that I think is just creeping in the shadows, and I think it's going to take a lot longer to mature, and that's Digibyte. Now, Digibyte is a blockchain or a digital asset, if you like, that has a very strong community, very strong marketing, very strong development team. Has been around for 4 or 5 years now. It's a very secure, very fast blockchain. Now, the only thing it's missing is the ability to get attention for apps and dApps, as for example, like an Ethereum or a Neo or an EOS. Some of these other ones have already got dApps and apps starting to build on it, and have got a little bit more attention because they're leveraging those communities together, and you're finding they're getting a little bit more attention at this present time. However, I'm really watching Digibyte, and they're very, very consistent with their news, and it's got very, very good liquidity in regards to what exchanges they're available on. Like I said, the technology and the foundation is there. It's just, where is it going to go next? And it's one of those ones you've got to keep your eye on. I think it's going to do really, really well over the next few years if they can get some key relationships with some obviously applications and some other development teams to want to use the Digibyte platform and the Digibyte digital asset for their particular application. So that's one. Obviously, can't go past EOS. The reason why, obviously EOS is going to be finishing their token distribution in June. Now, it's April, May, June, or end of April, so we've got pretty much 5 weeks until EOS goes live. Now, there's a whole heap of applications building on EOS. It's already happening. There's a lot of airdrops from these applications as well. I'm going to share a website with you in a minute. Now, EOS does not do airdrops. Right, EOS as the main deal does not do any airdrops unless it's announced by the team. But as far as I know, they don't. There's a lot of scamming going out there, so be really, really mindful of that in this space. If you're in doubt, don't click on links and things. Go and find out from the development teams directly what's going on. And sometimes that could just be an email, or get into the Telegram group and ask the people in there. Now, EOS is doing, or the particular dApps or decentralized applications building on EOS are going to be doing a whole series of airdrops over the next few months. Now, there are some requirements. Most of them don't require you to do anything. It's just going to be doing snapshots of your particular portfolio or your position in your MU, which is your My Ether wallet, or wherever you've got your EOS. I think some exchanges are supporting some of the airdrops, but you'll need to make sure that that's actually happening. There is a website called airdropsforeos.com /en/airdrops, which has got all the different ones. So you've got IRYO or IRIO, I don't even know what that is. EOS Cafe, I need to do a little bit of research. Some of these are new to me. Carmel, EOS DAC I know about. They've already done their snapshot and are starting to deliver their tokens. You've got Scatter, Everpedia, and I've heard some of these, and it's actually getting bigger and bigger and bigger as I go down. So it's obviously worth getting in here and having a bit of a read of what requirements or what action is required from you to receive your tokens, if any, and be mindful of scams and things like that. So yeah, keep your hat on and get ready for the launch of EOS in June. Another one, now I'm not going to go too much into these, I'm just going to drop some names only because they're getting their platforms ready, and I think there's going to be a new wave of growth for a lot of these platforms based on the fact that they're actually getting their product and services in place. Like last year, 2017, was all about blockchain, lots of hype and excitement. There was a lot of money coming in, a lot of early positions getting in before the actual foundation of the business is set. So some of the market cap was actually probably inflated to a greater extent because a lot of them didn't even have products or workable, usable products, and which is obviously shows you how speculative and volatile this particular industry can be. But Icon is definitely one to go and do some research on. They've got a whole heap of exciting things on their platform, decentralized exchanges, all sorts of different things. Ethos is going to be another application which will enable you to secure your particular digital assets, and I'm still waiting for that. You know, the pillar projects and these type of things, where we're looking for a place to store our tokens and be able to leverage our entire portfolio in a more seamless way. So go and have a look at Ethos. I know they're getting closer to their particular launch. ADEX is another one. ADEX is going to be disrupting the online marketing in regards to the centralization of marketing. We see that Google and YouTube have pretty much the same entity, have pretty much narrowed down the entire market in regards to how marketing is leveraged and how it works. ADEX is looking at disrupting that. There are other ones. I just happen to be watching ADEX and seeing where they're coming from. Obviously because they started last year and they're now moving towards getting their platform ready. Another one is Pillar. Pillar Project is obviously a wallet. It's a phone application. I've been watching video, and then they're going to evolve demonstration prototype, and they've been able to move tokens between two phones very securely, very, very quickly. And it's something, and like I said, I think with the applications, it's a race to see who gets first, and anyone that was an early entry to the market and it's got a community behind it will obviously do reasonably well at the beginning because they've got a little bit of attention. So Pillar's still got a bit of work to do, but they're very active in regards to sharing their stage development. Another one which is lurking in the background is CryptVisor CVC coin. What that is essentially going to be an encrypted communication channel. Very similar to Fort Knox in the sense that you'll have an application. You'll be able to set up your groups, your direct lines with individuals. You could use it for business. Maybe you want to have a very private conversation for a business deal or something, or if you want to talk to your mum privately or something like that. You'll be able to use the CryptVisor application, and what it does is it stops all these issues that we see with like Facebook. We saw Facebook data skimming, or they've been accused of it, but it seems like they're trying to take attention away from the fact that YouTube and Google and all these other companies have been doing it for years, ever since the internet was put in place. So I don't think Facebook's necessarily guilty of anything. I mean, where we sign up to those particular platforms, you've got to expect that some information is going to be used. That's just sort of how it is. But however, when you've got these particular platforms like CryptVisor and Fort Knoxer and those type of things, it's going to put more power in our hands to be able to control our information and how that information is being shared across the airwaves on the internet. So have a look at CBC coin. It's actually been hidden away on the BitShares DEX, and it hasn't really got too much exposure. So the liquidity of it at the moment is very, very stable. A little bit of volatility. However, I think it's incredibly undervalued based on what I've seen across the board in a lot of other coins. There's only 15 million coins ever going to be produced. I think they're locked up, a lot of those coins. There's under 10 million available now, and it's only on one exchange, one or two exchanges. Let me just check that. So it's on the DEX, and it's also on BTC Alpha. So I only go through the Open Ledger DEX, but that's another one for you to research. Now, in regards to upcoming ICOs, I'm going to be doing some videos on BitNation, Shivom, and I'm going to do another one on Eumerium, another one on Global REIT, and another one on XYO Network. The one that excites me the most at this initial stage is BitNation, and I'm not going to go into it too much, except this is what I have been looking for a very, very long time. It's what I've been talking about in my earlier videos. This is about setting up a jurisdiction, a private jurisdiction for you as a man or a woman to be able to engage as a citizen in any place around the world based on the quality of the governance and the laws and I suppose the fairness of legislation in those particular regions. So this is a really exciting, and I've got to do a little bit more research on this, but when I watched the video I was blown away. It's very, very similar to a concept that I wanted to do myself. So I'm going to be very, very excited to go and do a little bit more research on that today, and keep your eye out for a video on BitNation and some of those other ones I mentioned. That's all I wanted to share with you today. So, like I said, I've got just getting myself back into doing some videos. I think the market's showing a little bit more confidence. We're getting through this dip. There's been a bit of a bounce. It has been quite aggressive, so we might see another pullback. We know that crypto is incredibly volatile. I think it's a long-term game unless you've got really good trading experience. Nothing that I share with you is trading advice. However, with the power of information, you can make better decisions, and that's what it's all about. If you want to get into my Crypto Nut Telegram group, you can come in there and talk about stuff. We share all sorts of things, and we actually have conversations. There's no moons and Lambos. Every now and then we might have a bit of fun, but I think we pride ourselves on our intellectual capacity to have a conversation, which is probably a good thing. But even if you want to come in and you don't want to talk, however, you just want to be in a group of, or surround yourself with a group of people who are very, very interested in crypto, have obviously got a little bit of nous and know what they're doing, and obviously are willing to share information, because information is what it's all about. We're learning every day. It's a very, very exciting space. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks for watching. I really do appreciate all the support that I do get. It's been pretty good. Like I said, I'm just being myself. I'm just sharing stuff and enjoying that experience. And thanks for watching, guys, and just tune into my next video.